Alright, welcome back. We are moving on to section 2 of our Flight Planning 101. This is the course introduction. It is a one-pager as well, so there's nothing too much to worry about except this. Introducing the course that can save lives. Alright, the course can save lives. It is an important course to do. I know that's a little bit dramatic to just throw at you like that. But the fact of the matter is it's true. If some of the people that had accidents previously had done what I'm going to teach in this course, they would not have had those accidents and people would still be alive today. First question is, what will this course teach? Let's go into it. It is a specific flight planning course. I am not going to teach you about regulations. I am not going to teach you about aerodynamics. I'm not going to teach you how the drone works in all of its magical, mystical ways. I'm going to teach some of that stuff, some of the RPAS setup, because that's important for flight planning, but I'm not going to teach you about drones and all the different types of drones and all of that stuff. It is a flight planning course, and that is the focus here. Everything in this course that you will walk away with at the end is going to be what will help you to figure out how to plan your flight. And that does include right down to what sort of drone you should use, what are the limitations of a drone. It's going to then dive into your deeper things like how to read aeronautical charts, how to understand airspaces. Who will benefit from this course? Well, everybody is going to benefit from this course. I don't care if you have 100 years experience or if you have no experience at all. Scratch that. If you have 100 years experience, you probably won't be flying right now, but if you did have 100 years experience and you were perfectly fine, you probably won't need this course. However, there might be something of interest in here for you. I've taken this from a bunch of different sources, whether it be people who have done their own operations, people that even run businesses and companies. I've taken the information they've given me, and they all said separate things, which means everyone is missing at least something when it comes to flight planning, and that's why this course exists. So, as I said, whether you are experienced or licensed or not, it does not matter. This course is going to benefit you. How do I know that? 99% of the students that I teach still get lost when it comes to these basic things, and they are licensed. If you are licensed or experienced or not, this course is, at the very least, it's going to help you structure your thoughts on how to fly and plan safely. What makes me qualified to teach? The first thing is that I have an RPL. I am licensed to fly a remote pilot license. But that doesn't mean anything, all right? That's similar to getting a driver's license. When you get a driver's license, you don't know how to drive. You know, you're still starting out. Same with an RPL. You can get, and like I just said previously, there are students who have got an RPL and don't know anything about what I'm teaching here. So then I move on to the second thing, which is that I am instructor rated. So I am not just an RPL, but I also had to undergo further testing to become then an instructor. What that basically means is that I am legally allowed to teach. I know where to focus, I know where the issues lie, and I know where to focus to give the right information. Then we move on to ratings. So yes, I have an RPL, yes, I have the instructor rating, but I also have more ratings. I have the fixed wing rating, I have BVLOS rating. BVLOS stands for Beyond Visual Line of Sight. Essentially, what the BVLOS rating is on an RPL is your instruments rating for a manned license. Then the 100%, I mentioned that on the first slide there. I have a 100% track record. I'm more likely to get 100% than not. I wouldn't say that, but statistically speaking, that's the truth. But I wouldn't say that if you give me a test now, I'll get 100%. And then with jobs, I've worked 3 jobs as an instructor. I've worked in 3 different schools. I think I've worked more jobs as an instructor, but I have worked at 3 different schools. And I've also done other jobs along the way in these past 3 years. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to knowing what information is important and what information I want to get across the most. 4 is, what is the purpose of this course? The purpose of this course is to showcase missed or unknown information. Worked in 3 schools, not a single one of them have taught the detail about flight planning that I'm going to be teaching now. And the fact that proper flight planning is overlooked. Now, this isn't necessarily the fault of the ground schools or the ATOs. This is, unfortunately, the fault of the regulations of the CAA. The CAA has decided that they're going to give you a small time span and they're going to blast you with information. And unfortunately, even though I'm grateful for the information because it's interesting, unfortunately that information is not entirely relevant to flying safely. Most of it is just, I want to say hogwash, but that's rude. I would rather students learn this stuff now, then go to a school and do that stuff, because firstly, you're going to have way more knowledge. You're going to understand. You're actually going to understand drones. You're not going to go in feeling confused. But secondly, because even if you do a drone school's procedures, you are not going to learn what you're going to learn in this course, and I can guarantee that. Where can this course be applied? Well, it can be applied anywhere. I am following a universal standard according to drones. If you have a drone, whether you are in Afghanistan, whether you are in Ethiopia, whether you are down here in South Africa, it does not matter where you are. This is going to teach you how you're going to plan for where you are with your drone. The specifics per country are irrelevant. Your specifics are referring to your regulations, your governing bodies. It doesn't matter. As long as you take away the information you learned here and you apply it according to your country's specifics, which we will look at. Finally, 6, how is this course structured? Well, it is divided into sections and it includes the intro. I've divided this course into 10 different sections, section 1 to section 10. We are currently in section 2. You can refer to that if you have a look at the bottom left of the screen. That is going to jump around depending how I set up the slides, but they will always be in the same for every section except one section where I changed it just once. That is where you can keep track of where we are. You can also, of course, keep track of along the Udemy side, that side of the Udemy next to the videos, where it's going to say section, or lecture 1, lecture 2, whatever whatever that structure is going to be. For now though, with the slides, the structure is section 1 to section 10, and it does get confusing. I'll talk about it when we get to section 6, because 6, 7, 8, and 9 is technically one section. It is all flight planning, but because flight planning had so much information in it, I divided it up into 4 segments, which is in the different sections. Section 6 is flight planning segment 1, section 7 is flight planning segment 2, so on and so forth. Within each of those segments, there are 3 topics that we will discuss. All right, so section 6 segment 1 has ABC. Section 7, segment 2 has ABC. And your subject matter is separated fittingly. What that means is I have structured this in an appropriate way. I have not talked about pilot and crew safety and then jumped over to Google Earth. Those two things do not correlate. I've structured it in a way that it's at least going to make sense as you go through it piece by piece. In the next section, section 3, we are going to be going over RPAS information. This is a 7-page section, so it is a little bit longer. I might divide it up into subsections in the Udemy lectures. I might not make it one whole video, but for now, just so that you can know what to expect from section 3 RPAS information, this is where you're going to identify things such as what to know for flight planning. What that means is what you're going to be learning for drone planning. It's going into things like how the system works, your drone limitations, battery safety, drone preparation, what info to look for, where to find the info, control of the drone, and radio signal and data links. If none of that stuff makes sense to you right now, don't worry, it's going to be covered in the next section.